Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Walking Dead episode 13 video. Suddenly it's all happening at once. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. I didn't do face cam just so I could get this video out just a little bit faster. There's a new round of the Walking Dead giveaway. It's for a $20 Amazon gift card. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. So let's do top 10 WTF and comic book Easter eggs. The comic book storyline sped this along a lot faster than they did on the TV show, but a lot of the same types of things happen. It's all March to War, the characters coming together. They come together in a slightly different way at a slightly different pace though. So number 10. Carol finally comes to Morgan asking what Daryl hid from her. Morgan pushes it off onto Daryl. He should be the one to help you. So Carol's like sitting there in tears, like just trying to figure out what's going on. What Daryl wasn't telling her. She has this sixth sense, but it's not until Morgan won't tell her again. Like that moment where he's like, you know, he should really be the one to tell you, that she really senses something's up. She gets that look on her face like, oh no, that's not good. But I love the intro with her as she's entering. Like there's that montage of her killing the walkers, and then Benjamin's like, holy crap, we were gonna help you out, but you're a total badass. You do not need our help at all. So number 9, Carol and Benjamin sort of setting off the someone else will come along storyline. Someone else will come along and train you. Get out of here, kid. Oh no, I can totally skip the drop. So now doesn't Carol just feel so much more guilty? If she had agreed to let him come along, he might still be alive. So each of the characters had a moment like this that they regret that caused their actions in this episode or caused them to change their behavior in this episode. Richard talks about how he thought that someone else would come along. It led to the death of his daughter, Katie. Morgan regrets Dwayne's death, his son. I'll talk about that later on my list because there's a whole bunch of Morgan way at the top of my list here. And then later when Carol regrets not helping Benjamin out in this moment here, she's really also regretting all of her friends back in Alexandria because she didn't help out sooner. So sort of the whole message of the episode is that someone else will not come along, take action today because tomorrow will be too late. But they were really laying it on thick with the Benjamin character this week. They want you to feel like he's this puppy dog who's super eager, he's happy, ready to learn. He has this great relationship with his little brother who he's kind of like a father to now. So if you didn't think that they were going to kill him before this episode, you definitely start to get worried about him just because there are so many extra scenes with his character. But number 8, Richard slowly loses his mind as he's digging the grave for himself and for his daughter. So it's the big hat tip as Carol's walking by going like, somebody else is around here. Who killed this walker? What's going on here? And it just, everything feels really uneasy. So I love the way they built tension in this episode. Like you can see the shopping carts in the background here. So number 7, Richard tries to make peace with Morgan. Like, don't feel bad when things go sideways because you're gonna have to kill somebody. I totally understand what you're doing here, but you're definitely gonna have to kill somebody soon. So he wasn't wrong, but Morgan is probably gonna ignore his advice and still be really hard on himself. Like whatever this person that Morgan is turning into, he is definitely going to beat the crap out of himself because like there's the painting that Benjamin brings Morgan and he recites that line to him. When you hurt someone else, you hurt yourself. So Morgan definitely hurt himself, and I'd say that he has that giant painting to look at for the rest of the season to remind him of that, but it seems like Carol sort of gave him the shack on the edge of town so that he could get away without actually getting away. But you get the backstory about Richard's children. Is Richard sitting there talking to Morgan? I think it's the first time Morgan openly acknowledges his son in a long time. Every once in a while, he's mentioned him in a roundabout way. Like he definitely acknowledges that something really bad happened to Dwayne. If you don't remember how Dwayne died, what happened is as he was searching a basement, he left Dwayne with a gun with their walker wife, and Dwayne, being the little kid, wasn't able to shoot his mother and kill her before she was able to bite him. Morgan was able to kill his wife, but not before it was too late to save his son. So his inaction, pushing off something he should have done, killing his wife, led to the death of his son. I should have taken action sooner. So number 6, Richard's plan comes into motion, and it seems really weird. Like you pull up, there's this shopping cart barrier, you get really uneasy, and then you sort of remember, oh wait a minute, Wasn't he just digging that grave with all the shopping carts next to him? And you wonder what he's planning, but it turns out to just be a really big stall for time. They have that moment where Ezekiel's like, it's a wonder that we're all not mad. They totally think that it was just some random person that went completely crazy, but it's all a stall for time so that Richard can hide that piece of fruit so that things will just barrel out of control when they meet with the Saviors. So number 5, predictably, the shit hits the fan. Gavin and the Saviors exact a price when it seems like Ezekiel hasn't kept the terms of their bargain. So it's not just that they forgot a piece of fruit, it's the latest in a series of setbacks in their arrangement. So he lets the butt munch exact the price, and instead of Richard getting killed, it winds up being Benjamin. And they did this weird thing where they cut away and they scream. It was kind of a different turn for them. Normally, I think they would just show him being shot on television, but maybe they're responding to people thinking that it's too violent. So the moment still worked for me. Your brain sort of fills in the missing gap, like, oh my god, he shot Benjamin. But this might just be a network thing. You guys can let me know. Do you think it was weird the way they did this instead of him just outright getting shot? Maybe they wanted to make it even worse because your mind comes up with something that's so much more terrible than what they could do on television. But they haul him to Carol's, he dies on the table, and it's kind of a sad moment. The Benjamin character was always sort of superfluous, like you always sensed that something was off about him. Like I can't remember if it was in the 2nd or the 3rd episode, it might have been by like the 4th episode at least that I was like, they're definitely gonna kill this guy this season. He's way too innocent, he's like the Bambi of the group. He's way too eager, he's not a good fighter, and he is so ready to rush into a fight that he's definitely not gonna win. And then on top of that, they gave him all these extra scenes in this episode just so that you would feel the weight of this moment. So the moment landed for me, but it's not like watching one of the survivors that you've spent the last 7 seasons with dying. But the whole thing here is that this is sort of like the last domino that pushes Ezekiel, Carol, and Morgan over the edge, although it's a lot more clear for Morgan and Carol because they had a much stronger arc in the episode. But even though Morgan and Richard's plan continues to be a big thing in the episode, this was also sort of the tipping point for Ezekiel where he's like, okay, that's it, we're gonna join the alliance, even though he doesn't outright say that till much later. Number 4, Morgan finds the fruit, goes crazy, almost tries to kill himself, then confronts Richard like he's ready to kill him. Richard explains the plan. This is how we do it. It was supposed to be me. We have to make them believe that we understand. So Morgan seems like he's on board, but he just has murder on his face. Like you don't know what he's gonna do. He has that crazy nervous tic, and it's almost like you're back to season 3 Morgan, where Rick finds him and he has totally lost his mind. So this is where it starts to get really exciting. Number 3, jumping forward because all the really good stuff is way higher on my list. Morgan finally comes to Carol and just fed up with everything, flat out tells her what happened, how Negan killed Glenn, Abraham, Spencer, Olivia, how everyone was forced to work for the Saviors, and that's the final thing that breaks her, causes her to go back. I should have helped out sooner, they might still be alive, I thought that someone else would come along, the thing that Richard said earlier, so they did a great job of weaving that theme into the entire episode. But number 2, Carol comes back to Ezekiel, ready to fight, and he's like, well, not today. They start planting things. It was a nice callback to Carol planting seeds in her front yard. You can burn things down, but they'll grow back. That was actually one of the best lines in the episode from that woman that comes to talk to Ezekiel, but she's afraid of Shiva. Like, I'm just going to stay right here. I'll be fine. Probably one of the best non-action lines in the episode, although the best moment of the episode went to Morgan. So number 1, Morgan kills Richard. Huge WTF. It's this big turn for his character. Ever since season 6, we got the flashback. He's been this way. So you have to imagine that the first time that we saw him again after that huge absence at the beginning of season 5, that he's been this pacifist self. It's like he's giving up his faith and adopting his old stabby ways as he's like whittling down his staff at the end of the episode. I love the way that they don't show you that either. You just hear the sound of him whittling a point into the end of his staff so that he'll be able to kill people with it faster. The object of his pacifism is now the object of his revenge. But the big comic book change that they made in this episode, or really this part of the season, is mostly with the Ezekiel character. Now, I mean, obviously, like the Carol character is very different in the comics. She killed herself way long time ago, so they've already changed her a bunch. But comic book Ezekiel is much more ready to fight before he meets Rick Grimes. So when you meet Ezekiel at the beginning of this season, he's like, we're happy with our arrangement with the Saviors. we're not looking to start anything. I'm trying to protect these people. But comic book Ezekiel is a lot more like Richard in that he knows that they need to fight Negan, but he's waiting for other people to come along. So eventually he meets Rick and the survivors and he's like, great, I got the people I need. Let's form an alliance. Let's fight the saviors. The big question now is who is going to kill Negan first, Carol or Morgan, because it looks like they are both out for blood. Ezekiel wants to kill him too. So now it's like, who's going to get to him first? Is it going to be Rick? Is it going to be Carol? Is it going to be Morgan? So now things are really starting to get exciting. So behind the scenes, it seems like what they're trying to do with these last few episodes is be kind of hopeful about it. And this is all March to War. So I'm guessing that All Out War will be like the first couple episodes of season 8 just based on the pace that they're going. But let me know in the comments, when do you think that they will actually begin making war against Negan and the Saviors? Do you think that'll fall in the very last episode? Or do you think we'll get like a teaser for that at the end of episode 15? But what's going to happen next is I have some new Flash to post. There's some big Iron Fist drama. The series is dropping this week. I'll try to post that Tuesday morning. You guys want a Legion video? I meant to do that before, but so much stuff happened. So I'll try to get that video out Wednesday, and I'll update the video schedule in the top comments. So be sure to just check the top comments out. But congratulations to the latest Walking Dead giveaway winner, Logia Gamer. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. There was a new round in this video. I'll announce the winner when I post my next Walking Dead video. While you wait for that to post, there was a whole bunch of new Game of Thrones that dropped this weekend. You can click here for all the teasers that they dropped for the next coming season, and you can click here for that trailer again. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video tonight. Everybody, let's high five.